Yo, what's up guys? Chris Wood, aka Mantis from the Mantis and the Funk, and we are doing some electronics today. We're soldering and resoldering this three-way switch with a couple of pots, about one volume, one tone. But I want you to see this old solder job here. Look how messy this is, huh? This is what you don't want to see on a pot. And the reason is it's darker gray there. Good soldering job, it'll be shiny and clean. This is actually draping over the side. You can see on this side of the pot. Where is it? Blue. It's running down the pot and right there, running down the side of the pot. Luckily it didn't reach the bottom to where the gap is for the sweeper and things. See that? Oof. Running on the side, but it didn't reach all the way to the bottom. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat this up and take all this old solder off, and we do that with a solder sucker, blue. So this basically push it in, and it just sucks as you heat it up. It'll suck all the bad solder right off, and it's very easy and helpful. As are this little stand. It's called the Helping Hands. I got this for $3 at Harbor Freight. The solder sucker came with my new soldering gun. But yeah, we're gonna take this apart, redo it, and get it nice and clean. We'll show you some clean joints, which should be shiny, and you don't need a lot of solder on the top of this to get, you don't want to clog up your pot like that, because it just makes for a horrible mess. So again, Mantis the Funk doing electronics today. Something like that. Alright, I'm going to show you how to tin your soldering iron here to prepare for a good solder job. We're going to want a nice clean soldering tip that is tinned, and what that means is as it heats up, you get it nice and hot. You see how mine was left nice and shiny there on the top? That's what tinning it is going to do. And what we do is we have a sponge and we have some flux. This is rosin-free flux. And then we have a little bit of our 6040 solder. Rosin core, 6040 rosin core. Now, we're just going to use our sponge, clean off this tip. And we've got some paper towel. And then we have our flux is right here next to it. And you're just gonna, this is cleaner, so you're just dipping it in, turning it, and see how shiny and clean this, see how shiny and clean this is coming. So, I've seen some people with some horrible soldering tips. It's just because you're lazy, man. You need a sponge, and you need some flux, and you need to do this over and over again to get the old solder off. Look at that. Look, nice, right? Nice and clean. And then you just take your your solder, and you're just going to tin. This is what this means, tinning the tip. And then I hang it upside down, and you let that just melt to it. And you just let that melt to it, and you can do that as many times as you need to. You can do it as many times as you want. It's not going to hurt it. It's only going to make it better. And keep your tip nice and clean, so you can have accurate soldering here. Alright, we got our solder sucker ready. I'm going to take off all this old solder and just heat this up with our tip. And as you heat it up, get your solder sucker down in there. Start pulling off that old solder. Sometimes you can just take a paper towel, and as you heat up the solder, you can try to grab it off. So as we're cleaning up this junk, your tip's going to get dirty. You just want to go ahead and throw it back in the sponge. Let it heat back up a little bit. Throw it into the flux. Look at that, see? Right back to nice and shiny. Back in the sponge. Let it heat up a little. Into the flux. Alright, we got our new wires set up and cut. Some new pieces that we're going to install here and get rid of the old damaged stuff. And we're going to prep all of our electronics here. The way to do that is you want to heat the component and not the solder. That way we get a nice good solder job. You heat the component. And then you place the solder right on the component. Alright, so now we got our ground that's going to go to our input jack. We've got our three-way switch wired back in. And we are ready to put this back inside, drop it in, and put the pickups in. We're going to run a ground that goes to the back of the cavity so we can ground the bridge. And then the strings will be grounded as well and everything. I'll show you with a multimeter how we can test all that afterward. But again, when you're done, make sure you clean off your tips. A little bit of sponge, a little bit of flux. Sponge and flux. And then we'll tin it. When we're done, when it's nice and clean, we put some solder right on the tip. And then I just unplug the iron and let that solder just cool right to it. Alright, so we've got our pots and our switch back in its case here. We've got the pickups hooked up and soldered to the volume knob, the volume pot. We ran a ground wire, see this here, through this little cavity. What we're going to do is we're just going to attach it right to the top of the trem. This little claw that's on the tremolo. We're going to attach it right to that, and then to our grounded pot, so that we ground not just the claw, but also the springs going to the tremolo block, going to the strings. Everything's going to be grounded so that you're not going to fall into any problems if you're holding the microphone or anything, you know. And we also got our input jack that we're going to solder in now that everything is back together. And then I'll show you how to check to make sure that it's grounded, so that make sure everything is uniformly grounded, okay? Alright, and we are together. I'll show you now how to use a multimeter to check and make sure everything's grounded. Once it's cooled, we got a little multimeter here. You're going to turn it to, it looks like the Wi-Fi signal actually. You see it down here. Boom, looks like a little Wi-Fi signal. See that? That's what we're going to turn to. And then, once you have it there, take these caps off. Whenever you touch, you'll get a beeping sound if it's grounded, okay? So what you do is you just go into the cavity of the output jack, input jack, input output jack. Hold one on there. First pot, grounded. Three-way switch, grounded. Last pot, grounded. Claw is grounded. Bridge is grounded, which means the strings will be grounded. Everything's ground, and we are good. We're going to get some strings on this baby, and we are going to see how she flies. Woo-ha!